Welcome to this week's AMT Fresh Produce Overview, your trusted source for the latest price movements, market trends, and forward-looking insights. Whether you're producing, buying, or selling fresh produce, you're in the right place. This episode is proudly brought to you by Standard Bank, helping you grow every step of the way. So, let's dive in. Let's start off with this week's top market movers. First, cucumber prices saw the biggest decline, dropping by a massive 46% due to increased supply and weaker demand. Second, grapes made a strong upward movement, with prices climbing 20% as the season winds down and volumes drop sharply. And third, onions continued their strong performance, rising 9% this week and standing 23% higher than a year ago, thanks to the ongoing supply pressure. The national average potato price dropped sharply by 24% to 56.04 per 10 kilogram bag. Large potatoes traded lower at 65, mediums at 53 and smalls at 36 rand. Mondials were down to 52 rand while Cifras came in at 62 rand. The average price for class 1 potatoes across all sizes was 61.74 per 10 kilogram bag. Despite last week's decline, the current price is still 7% higher than a year ago, with volumes reported 14% lower year on year. Following the recent dip, we expect prices to firm up slightly this week. The market is starting off with lower volumes, and when combined with better demand, this could support slightly stronger prices in the short term. Looking ahead, we could see prices jump again as we approach the end of the month. The average onion price rose by 9% to 102.86 rand per 10 kilogram and is now 23% higher than a year ago. Brown onions averaged on 103 rand, red onions increased to 120 rand, and white onions jumped to 102 rand. Large sizes traded higher on 105 rand, mediums on 108, and smalls at 86 rand. Our forecast model suggests that volumes may stay under pressure until the end of August, which could keep prices elevated. However, if we continue following the 2023 trend, prices may peak at the end of this month before starting to decline. It will be interesting to see where these prices are headed. Tomato prices dropped by 6% last week due to weaker demand, bringing the national average price to 11.92 rand per kilogram. This is now 4% lower than a year ago, while volumes are down by about 21% year on year. Large tomatoes traded at 15.22 rand, mediums at 12.30 rand and smalls at 11.21 rand. High quality large tomatoes remain scarce and are still fetching premium prices. With volumes starting the week at lower levels and demand showing signs of improvement, prices could see a slight rebound this week. Carrot prices slipped by 1% to 9.92 rand per kilogram but remain 78% higher year on year. Large carrots traded on 10.67 rand, mediums at 8.14 rand and smalls at 8.84 rand. We expect volumes to start increasing in about 2 weeks, which could begin to place some downward pressure on prices then. For now though, prices are likely to remain firm. The average pepper price fell by 18% to 14.87 rand per kilogram. Green peppers came in lower at 10.56 rand, yellow peppers dropped to 22.06 rand and red peppers declined to 25.84 rand. Despite the drop, prices are still 31% higher than last year this time, with volumes 9% lower year on year. I still believe pepper prices will remain on the softer side during May and June before likely picking up again from July onwards. Cabbage prices decreased sharply by 26% to 2.57 rand per kilogram. Garlic prices edged up 2% to 73.99 rand, with local garlic averaging on 74.44 and imported garlic reaching 80.43 rand. With local volumes expected to decline during the winter, we anticipate garlic prices to increase further over the next 2 months. Spinach prices dropped by 22% to 6.24 rand per kilogram, but are still 34% higher than a year ago. Sweet potato prices also declined by 9% to 6.32 rand, driven by increased supply and persistently weak demand. Pumpkin prices fell by 9% to R3.37, butternuts also dropped by 9% to R4.49, while green beans decreased by 29% to R11.83. The latest cucumber price saw a sharp 46% decline to R13.28. These trends are largely due to more favorable weather conditions, boosting vegetable production and in turn supply on the markets. In the fruit market, the average banana price dropped by about 5% to R10.52 per kilogram or R189 per 18 kilogram box. Even with this decrease, prices are still 41% higher than a year ago. I expect a slight increase at the end of May, but traditionally banana prices trend lower in June and July each year. Apple prices decreased slightly by 1% to R9.77 per kilogram, while pear prices gained 3% to R8.95. Orange prices declined by 1% to R5.99 per kilogram, but remained 16% higher than a year ago. As more volumes are expected, we anticipate further downward pressure on orange prices from the mid of May through to June. Avocado prices eased by 2% to R17.92 per kilogram, still 34% above last year's levels. Vieties increased to 26, while both Haas and Pinkertons traded at R16 per kilogram. We continue to expect a gradual upward price trend towards the end of this year again. The average grape price surged by 20% to R46.93 per kilogram as volumes fell by 48% week on week. With the local season drawing to a close, the shift to imports could drive prices even higher over the next month or two. Pineapples dropped by 5% to R11.80, lemons fell 9% to R5.86, and blueberries climbed to R221 per kilogram last week. This episode was proudly brought to you by Standard Bank. For more detailed insights, forecasts, and free downloadable tools and reports, visit amtrends.co.za. I'm Dr. Johnny van der Merwe. Thanks for tuning in and see you next week.